I was trying to figure out how to explain Vipassana in an analogy, and I came up with one. It might be a little bit clunky, but I'll put it out there anyway. And this is like the perfect way. And this technique is nothing magical. It's very simple. It's so, when an idea is so simple, it's perfect and genius. It's like the technique is so genius at its core and so scientific and so like, fuck yeah, it makes the most sense out of anything I've ever heard. It's like genius.
It's so Buddhist.
Yeah.
It really is.
It was mind blowing. And then feeling the application of the technique, I'm like, yeah, like this is the real work. So the analogy I came up with, and it suits it pretty well. It's like, suppose you have a stalk of basil, and you go to the grocery store. You can buy the basil cut up, or you can buy the basil in the container with the earth and the roots and the stems and the leaves. And you can just water it and it keeps growing, and you actually have basil for quite a long time.
Okay.
So you get that. You come home, you look at the basil more from an aerial view, and there's leaves everywhere. It's chaos. There's maybe you see a few stems, but you don't see the bottom. You just see leaves. And we're talking aerial view, looking from above down. So let's use that as those leaves represent your thoughts. And the stems are more in the unconscious layer of the mind. Okay. And the earth is where it's coming from. So you have the unconscious layers, the stems. Some stems have multiple leaves attached to different ones. So in the unconscious mind, this happened because of this, and that's a thought, which is the leaf. So it's all connected. So you living your life, the leaves are everywhere. It's chaos. There's no order. And then over time, you're just like, you know what? There's something going on. I'm not happy. There's misery. What the fuck is going on? I need to change something. So you do the initial superficial layer. You say, okay, you know what? I'm going to start changing my thought process. I'm going to maybe do yoga. I'm going to do something. And you start trimming away, cutting off leaves. And before you know it, you're left with like maybe 10, 20 leaves. It makes sense. It's clear. And you go, relaxed, stress-free. This is what I want to live like. And you enjoy that moment, whether it's a day, a week, a month, or a year. You're enjoying that silence that you've created. And at the leaf layer, it's usually about a day, and then it starts coming back. So you notice leaves are growing back because it's a plant. You're feeding it. It's growing. And then before you know it, all of a sudden, all the leaves are back. You're like, what the fuck? I worked on myself. Why am I stressed? Why is there misery again? I thought I put the hours in. I did the yoga. I did the meditation, and I'm back in this fucking mindset.
Oh, and there's that insidious moment.
Yeah.
It's something deeper, isn't it?
Yeah. So you dive the submarine a little bit lower. You see the stems. You say, okay, maybe you go to a therapist. Maybe you do some psychedelics. Maybe you start whatever. You really start doing like a Jordan Peterson self-authoring type of program. And you start going deeper to the stems, and you say, oh, okay, I thought like this because when I was younger, my mother or my father said something here, and then that formed, and then, oh, I see the pattern. Okay, it started back then. Okay, let's cut that stem. Boom, stem's gone. Another stem, like, oh, I did this because he said this to me when I was in grade 6, and then I felt ashamed, and then, oh, I'm acting in ashamed my whole life because of that. You cut that stem. Beautiful. The stalk is very clean, neatly put. Maybe some of those stems will never fucking grow back, and you actually did get rid of something. But we'll prolong it because we're in more of the depth. Maybe months, years pass. Things happen, life goes on, things trigger you. You've worked through a lot of shit. You haven't seen those stems in a long time, but something hits you, and those stems start growing right back. Because it's a plant, you water it, it grows back. And they grow, and then you're getting anxiety and misery, and everything's like, what the fuck? I did all the work. I did all the fucking work, and it's still miserable. I'm still miserable. Why? Why am I miserable? And that's where this technique is so pure and so genius, is because we've been looking at the stems and the leaves this whole time. But to really get to the fucking bottom of your misery is you got to go to the roots. And the roots are not thoughts. Thoughts are what we've labeled on top of those sensations and feelings. When you get to the roots, what is that? Okay, that's something that made it grow. What made it grow? This is where the technique starts to get really interesting. It's the subatomic level of the body and the mind. Okay, and this is where everything starts from. Reactions to sensations, stimulus that hits the body, and then there's a sensation. Your mind categorizes that sensation, puts a label, good, bad, avert, go towards, crave, aversion, and then the roots start to grow. So what this technique does is it makes you look at the sensation level. So you go past the mind, further to the roots, and you look inwards and say, I feel something here. This is pain. I don't like pain. Categorize as pain, don't like, avoid. And then you start building a stem towards avoiding that pain your whole life, whatever it was. And I had a few examples that actually really illustrate this for some people that still don't catch on. Is suppose you're a newborn, okay, and we don't have much of an unconscious mind at that stage. We barely have a mind. We're just acting on our impulses and our survival mechanisms. So let's go with the first time feeling cold, okay? Maybe it was your arm that felt cold initially, your left arm. Let's just use that example.
Probably freezing when you pop out of your mom.
Yeah,
you're just like,
right away. You're already crying.
This?
Yeah, because you're born into this world through misery. So there's already misery that your stems are growing and everything's already happening just at the fucking birth canal. But let's say you're a baby, you're cold, freezing, your arm's cold, you start panicking. What's happening is there's a temperature change at the surface level, the deepest level. There's a reaction, a chemical reaction. Okay, that sends signals to the mind. That's where the ego forms. This is not a good sensation. Okay, this is a bad sensation. And then boop, that leaf pops up with the stem. Bad sensation. How do we avoid it? Your mother came up to you, she grabbed you, warmed you up. Another leaf came up. Oh, warmth, love. That got rid of that feeling of cold, loneliness. Okay. And then that's how that stem starts to form and grow and build. And then your whole life, things just from that sensation, you don't even know where it started from because that's the core. You're adding leaves to that stem. And that's a negative one. We'll use it a positive one. You're a baby, same newborn, maybe your eyes working a little bit better, and your uncle is playing peekaboo with you, and you're laughing. He shows your face, you crack up, he hides it, it's gone. And then all of a sudden you're like, I like it when he's entertaining me. I don't like it when he stops entertaining me. So that stem pops up, that biochemical reaction at the body level. Okay, sensation feels good, pops up. I like more of entertainment. When it's not there, I feel sad. I feel unfulfilled. I feel unentertained. I don't like that. Another leaf forms. And these categories are growing in everything we fucking do. Good and bad, avert, go towards, crave, aversion, right? And that's the fucking Vipassana. It's going to the sensory level of the deep subconscious mind and unconscious mind and the deep level of the actual biochemical body. Working at the sensory level, the sensations. Seeing the sensations with the philosophy of anicca, the law of impermanence, that those sensations will pass. If you attach to it, then they're going to stay and form the sankharas, like they say. And then if you observe the sensation with an equanimous mind, a mind with no reaction, then you're slowly killing the roots and pulling the roots out. And that's how I formed it. And I think it nails it. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, man, you got me right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what to add to that. It's amazing.
Yeah. So that's what Buddha figured out.